In this Wreath Basics tutorial, I will share how I do my ribbon. That is probably one of the most requested things of how do I pick my ribbon and how do I cut it and put it on my wreath. I basically use the same kind of method or pattern that I go in. My favorite is 13 inches for my 2.5 inch ribbon and 12 inches for my 1.5 ribbon. Depending on, what kind of wreath I'm doing will depend on what kind or colors that I pull together. This just happened to be a winter wreath, so I pulled out some snowflakes and different grays and whites and blues just to accent this wreath. I like to get my ribbon from different places. My favorites are Craft Outlet, Hobby Lobby, Walmart, Joann Fabrics and Crafts, Michaels, Amazon, anywhere that I can find cute, very good quality ribbon, I'm okay with. I have these three 2.5 inch ribbons cut. I've already dovetailed them. And so what I like to do, how I do my bundles is when I'm doing 3 ribbons together, I decide which one I'm going to want to make an X, and then I put the one that I want to be seen on top. So I make like the X, and then I, put that one in the middle. I use my little tiny attacher. You may have seen me mention this before. I love this thing. It's one of my favorite things for wreath making. Yes, you can use that's one of the questions that I get. You can use a regular staple, but I just like it. Just puts a teeny tiny staple in there. And so then when I gather it like this to put into my wreath, I don't even feel it. So I'm going to go ahead and make all of these, like this, and then I'll move on to my next set, and then I'll share how I put a few of them into my wreath. So I like to use my Perfect Tails board. These are just helpful tools that I have in my, in my craft room. You don't necessarily need to have this. You can measure it out on a mat or something like that. And I usually, depending on how many I need to cut out, will just depend on how many times I wrap it around. I have found that I don't like to wrap more than 4 or 5 on the board, because the more I wrap it, the more, it adds a little bit of the ribbon around the middle part of it. And then my ribbon tails are different lengths. And so what I'm doing here is I'm dovetailing. I'm just putting a V cut in the ends of each ribbon. I think it just gives a finished look to the, ribbon, and also makes everything look nice. Okay, so that was the 2.5 inch ribbon, and I think that ribbon came from Sam's. That is also another place that I forgot to mention that I do like to get the rolls of ribbon when they have them, for the Christmas season. Okay, so then now this one is from Sam's also, and this is a 1.5 inch, so I measured that out on my 12 inch board. And so my 2.5 I measure at 13 inches, and then the 1.5 I measure at 12 inches. And so then these two I will put together, and I put my bundles together. This is just a personal preference. I like that I can, have my ribbons ready to go, so that when I'm ready to put them into my pipe cleaners on my wreath, I have them all ready just like this. Okay, so I have my bundles all ready to go. I take the extra time just to get them ready so that when I put them into my wreath, I can just pick them up and go. So since I have 20 bundles and I'm using 3 sets of ribbon, what I did is I have 6 of these bundles with this gray burlap and the buffalo check, and then this white, and then I have 7 of these, and so then that gives me a total of 20 so that I can put them into my wreath. And so like I said, I cut my 2.5 at 13 inches, my 1.5 at 12 inches, and so then when I gather it like this, I just gather it in the middle. Let me do it this way so you can see. And so then I just kind of gather it and put it into my pipe cleaner like that, and then kind of position it so that it lays nicely, just like that. Okay, so I have my wreath here, and I just start somewhere. There is no right or wrong, just depending on how I want to put my ribbons in. So what I do is I just gather them like this. And then I untwist the pipe cleaner, and then I put it in, and then I twist it back. I get a lot of questions as to how I put my ribbons in my pipe cleaner. And so that's how I do it. I untwist it, and then I put it in there, and then I will cut this off, and I will give a dot of hot glue right there just to kind of seal the, you know, just seal the twist. And then I will cut off the excess, and if it's long enough, I will keep it to use for other projects. But if it's too short and I don't want to mess with it, then I just throw those extra pipe cleaners away. So I don't have my hot glue gun heated up right now, so I'm just gonna kind of put my ribbon in here just to kind of share. But then I'll go to my next ribbon, my next bundle. I just, you know, I put my bundles in a zigzag pattern, like bottom ring, top ring, bottom ring, top ring. So then I will decide, I'm gonna put this set in now. These are the 3 2.5 inch. So right here is like the next one that's up. So I'm just taking this one, gathering it, putting it in my pipe cleaner just like this. Then I'm gonna twist it, I don't know, about 3 or 4 times. And then I cut that off, and then I put a dot of hot glue to seal it, and then I'll bend down any excess that I may, you know, have cut it off. I don't like measure my cuts or anything. So then I will fluff my ribbons like that. So then now I'm gonna go down here. And I have this one. And so once I get all of my ribbons on, I'll give you like a closer view once I, you know, take my picture, so that you can kind of see. That's all I do, is I just untwist the ribbons. I put in my ribbon bundle, or my ribbon, whatever I'm doing. I do a dot of hot glue, and you know, just depending on the ribbon, I almost always use wired ribbon, and because that just looks the nicest. And so then now I have one ribbon, like I have one bundle here, then one here. So I'll continue to put in my ribbon bundles, you know, back and forth in a zigzag pattern. Now, I did not cut off my pipe cleaners, because in a bit, I'm going to show you what I did to curl them and make them part of the decoration for the wreath. Okay, guys, so I have all of my ribbon on my wreath. Now, I know it was a little bit hard to see how I was putting on the ribbon, but basically, I just put the bundles in. I just start in one, because, you know, I did a zigzag pattern with the mesh. I go top and then bottom, and I just alternate them until I get all of the bundles on. Again, I did cut 7 of the 2, and then I did 6 of the 3. And so that gave me a total of 20, because I have 20 bundles on here.